Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I hope you guys had a really awesome 4th of July. It's kind of weird because it's the 4th of July was on a Thursday, and this whole week has been crazy with my column on Pathios. It's like nobody is reading, even though there's so many crazy things going on. So make sure you check out my column and share them. I'm actually going to put a description, not in the description, but today's article that I'm sharing will be in the comments in a pin post because they have URLs that will make this video trigger for the monetization. So let's just talk like how YouTube hates to monetize anything. All right, you guys. So we're going to talk about a couple things. Like, first off, I was like, all right, we need to talk about this stuff with Jenelle because I found some new stuff today. But before any of that happened, you guys, what the hell happened in Indiana? Does anyone know? Oh, that's right. Amber Portwood. Amber Portwood, Janelle's only friend from the Teen Mom franchise, was arrested today in Indianapolis for domestic battery. Like, insane, right? Insane. So she's arrested, and according to court records and actually, I was able to find out a little bit of information, not a whole lot, but according to Marion County's inmate search, she is still incarcerated at the processing center, which is actually across the street from the Marion County Jail. And her arrest happened around 3 a.m. this morning when dispatchers in Indianapolis received a call, or a text message rather, from a man at her residence fearing for his life and the life of his child. Yikes. There's not a ton of information at this point that's been released. An altercation occurred between Andrew Glennon and Amber Portwood very late at night. Being that it's the 4th of July and the way her mugshot looks, she looks a little bleary-eyed and pale, making me wonder if alcohol was a part of this. She was, if you remember, arrested in 2010 for domestic violence against her ex-fiance, Gary Shirley, who is the father of her 10-year-old daughter, Leah. She ended up spending 17 months in jail after a series of failed drug tests, and she basically just didn't want to do drug court and didn't want to do the anger management classes, and instead asked the judge to put her in jail, and she spent 17 months in prison and was released. And remember when she was released in 2013, she was the new Amber. She was the Zen Amber. She was the Amber that didn't have any problems. Except she and Gary split up, and then she got involved with Matt, crazy Matt, that she was involved with for how many years, and then they split up. And then while she's filming Marriage Boot Camp, she gets involved with Andrew Glennon, who is on the production team, nuts, and they quickly end up getting pregnant, within very close proximity of when their relationship starts, and they have an Insta family. And now it appears that that Insta family could be falling apart. Andrew has not said anything publicly. Amber clearly can't say anything publicly. There hasn't been anything from her camp that's been released. All that's been said is that they arrived at the home, and Andrew told officers that she confronted him and assaulted him while he was holding their 1-year-old son, James. And when they talked to Amber, I don't know if she confirmed it, but basically after they talked to Amber, they took her to the pokey, and she is still there. She is facing a felony charge because the altercation involved a child under 16 years old. So in the state of Indiana, if a domestic abuse altercation involves a child or puts either a child at risk or includes a child, in this case, James would have been included because he was being held by his father while his father was attacked. It's a felony, and she could face from 6 months to 2.5 years in prison. And given the fact that she already has the same charge on hers from 2010, I'm beginning to wonder if the judge in this case is going to be like, yo, Amber, remember that time you were in prison for the same shit? You ain't learned anything. Now, Amber has been very outspoken about her issues and struggles with mental health. She has said publicly she is bipolar and has been diagnosed with depression and anxiety. But none of that really excuses violent behavior, because there are tons of people that have bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety that aren't violent. So in this case, this could just be a pattern of behavior for her. She might have some sort of personality disorder. Who knows? But if alcohol is involved, that can certainly amplify and increase anger. And it sounds like the old Ambi 2010, was back in major form last night. So that's the tea, or actually, it's not even really tea, because it's like literally what happened on Amber Portwood. All right. So before we dive into Jenelle, there was a rumor swirling on Twitter yesterday, because people were like freaking out that somebody might have paid, that somehow Jenelle might have paid off the judge, because seemingly she was able to get the judge removed from the case. Because if you recall, the first judge in the case for the related to the custody issues was the one that told Jenelle and Ambi, best friends in crime. God, these two have more mugshots than I care to even talk to you about. But anyway, I digress. There was a rumor swirling around on Twitter that the judge in the case was related to Jenelle's. Sorry, guys, related to Jenelle's judge. So the judge, Jenelle's attorney, was somehow related to the judge, and everyone was all like, "It's a conflict of interest." So this Whitney Platt chick is like, "No wonder Jenelle's lawyer wanted to keep his information private, because the judge is her uncle. The new judge is her uncle." She said the names wrong, but whatever. So according to this person, like, the judge is supposedly so she says that the judge is Carolyn Ashley Gore, and that William Gore was her attorney. The problem with this is that neither one of these people were involved in this case. So it was just a straight conspiracy. So William Gore was an attorney for David, and he said that he represented him previously. I'm guessing he was probably helping David with his case with the child custody for the back child support, if you remember, that happened in May with his son, Caden. So people started going to this guy's Facebook and being like, "Dude, you're like getting paid off. What the hell?" And he had to respond. Can you imagine an attorney like completely unaffiliated with a case getting like their name dragged and like being accused of bribery? That is nuts. That's how crazy people can get online. Anyway, he cleared it up, and he said, "For the record, I was not involved in this hearing at all. I represented David Eason in an unrelated matter several weeks ago." And the judge in the case were Judge William Fairley, so that was the first one, and then the second judge was Pauline Hankins. And as far as I know, Judge Ashley Gore was not involved in this hearing. I have never appeared in Ashley Gore's court in any contested matter. It is not allowed for a lawyer to appear before a close relative who is judge. You would think, right? So, the conspiracy is debunked, y'all. The judge was not the judge. And William Gore is like kind of an old, pudgy, balding white guy. And Judge Pauline Hankins, is a African-American woman. So it's likely that, even if they were, they're not even, no, it's not even possible, because it's not Ashley Gore, it's Pauline Hankins. And she was added to their case after they successfully petitioned to remove Judge William Fairley for being unfair to them. In what world are you able to actually get a judge removed from a case in a child custody hearing that quickly? I feel like money talks in the world of this justice system, because every friend I've had that's been in the CPS system has never had a judge removed. Hell, they can't even get a social worker removed. It's almost like they don't want to remove anyone ever because it's a pain in the ass to the court systems. So you have to wonder like what kind of like lawyer she had to be able to get a judge replaced and removed and have everything go seamlessly without any issues so quickly. I digress. All right. So what's going on with Jenelle? So there's a massive uproar, you guys. Obviously, people are not happy about the kids returning to the home. And if you remember a couple, like in May, there was a Twitter account, Just a Could, which is like a saying in the South, which I had no idea it was even a thing. They were the ones that released some videos, if you recall, of David and Jenelle fighting, and then where he was like flicking her off and telling her all these kind of like explicatives and like telling about, like she would be better off, not being around. And then there was the other video of Jenelle chasing David down the street in the middle of the darkness. You can hear her like feet crunching on their paved gravel. And she's like, "Don't come home. I'm going to take Marissa and I'm going to take her to her grandma's." And then David like takes off. Yeah. So the same account has been really fired up on Twitter because they're livid that even despite the fact that they've released all this information, despite the fact that Marissa testified against her dad in court, and despite the fact that Kaiser told all of that stuff to his daycare worker, and the fact that all these kids are terrified, well, I guess they decided they needed to release another photo of Jenelle's evidence that Jenelle's in a violent marriage, which we already knew. I don't think there was ever a question about that. But this was further pounding a nail into the proverbial coffin of why does Jenelle still have these kids, or maybe trying to pry the coffin open so that we can get the kids out. I don't know. This says that this was just another fight on the land. David was apparently like out of control, smashing everything up. He knocked her like glasses straight off her face. The glasses got smashed, and then she had marks on her face. Her hands were all scratched up. And that even though she got accosted in the fight, she was an active participant in this altercation. And if you see the bottom, if you can see the photo, you can actually see the flooring. So we know this is Jenelle's home because there was photos leaked previously, if you remember, of their bathroom completely smashed up on a night that like David went into a complete bender, and he destroyed their bathroom because he was mad at Jenelle for something, because that's what he does. He just breaks things when he's mad. So I was able to verify through her own Instagram photos that those glasses look pretty damn similar. She's got a lot of them. And so according to this person, they immediately went out and got a new pair of glasses that look identical, so no one would have been the wiser. But this is, again, this indication that like Jenelle is in this situation where she's in this marriage that's very toxic, and this photo is clearly taken by Jenelle, right? So why is Jenelle leaking photos to people if she wants the media to get off of her back? It is so odd to me that for someone who was so outspoken after this, that how the media started this and it was the media's fault and they were spreading rumors, but she's like the number one person that contributes to these rumors online by leaking photos, providing screenshots, providing text messages, providing photos, giving out her videos. Like, if you don't want the rumor mill to like swirl, girl, why are you the one that's like feeding the dragon by releasing all of this information? It seems to me like you only want the money that you get from this, but you don't necessarily like want the negative side of releasing this kind of crap to the world, which I literally do not understand. So I'm dumbfounded that the same person that is mad at the media for, calling the cops because David killed the dog and admitted it is then the one leaking things to the media. It makes no sense. So the other issue here is that Jenelle not only is like doing this leaking, but she's doing this with the sole purpose to profit off of it. So what she's doing is she's leaking photos to people, and then she's providing photos and messages and videos and all this stuff to different clickbait websites who then pay her for the information that she leaks to them. And then they also pay her to promote the article by putting it on her Instagram, which has 2.6 million followers, and then sharing it on her Twitter, which has over 1 million followers. And so then she gets paid, and this person says anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 a month. A month. A month. If she's making $50,000 a month, that is $600,000 a year on clickbait. How disgusting is that? So you're selling photos, you're selling your images, you're doing all this crap, and then you're the one that's putting yourself out there. So you're the one that's bitching about it, but then at the same time making money about it. So what is it? Are you mad? Are you not? It's like she can't stop profiting off of it. And so like I wanted to go to her Twitter to give you sort of an idea of like what she shares. And it's like today she shares a clickbait to Champion Daily. That's the website I told you that she sold her images for yesterday. So yesterday, Champion Daily had an exclusive article with exclusive photos of the kids at Jenelle's house on the 4th of July playing and being in the swimming pool, and everyone is so happy. And Marissa, it showed a video, like, and on her Instagram, there was a video of Marissa and her dad interacting, and her dad laughing. Everything felt very staged and almost like, oh, look at, we're such a good family. Look at how amazing we are. The one thing I didn't like in the photos, and I can grab it for you in a second, but there is a 2-year-old girl, Ensley, in a pool, and there's not an adult in the pool with her. She just has like those little, like, little arm tube things. But there's no parent in the water with her, and she's like literally taking photos of her daughter from above the pool. Like, I feel like the next thing we're going to find out is that these kids will be in a pool accident because they are not supervised. But I feel like that might, it's just another episode in the Jenelle saga. So what is she doing? She's on Twitter sharing clickbait to Champion Daily about Amber Portwood. She's also sharing clickbait about herself to Champion Daily. So far, she has sold 2 articles, 2 exclusive interviews to Champion Daily. That's so gross. She's also sharing clickbait about Farrah Abraham, about the Hills, about herself. Again, like, she is sharing clickbait about herself. Look. And this is what she did the entire time they were in court. Every update she sold an exclusive statement to, whether it was Us Weekly, whether it was People Magazine, whether it was Champion Daily, whether it was Radar Online. She was selling that to anyone who would buy it. And then she's sharing it to anyone, whoever bought the statement, got the clickbait, got the links, and got the share on her Instagram and on her Twitter. It's disgusting. Who goes out of their way to profit off of their own issues and their own, like, court case? There is something seriously wrong with this woman. I mean, it's obviously about the money. But I'm saying, like, the level of, and I saw your comment in there, it's obviously about the money, you guys. But the fact of the matter is like, your moral compass is like on the one breath saying, I don't want anyone to be talking about me, and the media created all of this. And in the same breath, you're selling exclusive interviews to the highest bidder. It's gross. I don't want it, but I do want it. I don't want it, but I do. I just need money. Feed me, feed me, feed me. And then she's also promoting flat tummy tea, which I don't know if you have seen her lately, but I don't believe she's using it. I'm not trying to be snarky, but the girl has definitely, she looks like she's on downers. You know what I mean? Like when I used to smoke a lot of pot back in the day, I used to be a little extra chub, let's just say, because all I did was have the munchies. And she's looking like she's had some munchies lately. And it could be from the stress, it could be from not feeling good, who knows what it is, but like this whole idea that she's losing weight on flat tummy tea, and like in one photo she'll be like having her gut pushed out, and the next photo she'll be like sucking in and be like, look, I look great. It's just so staged and so crap, and she's not using it. She just is probably getting money from them because they'll pay anyone to sell their laxatives. So she's like loves to sell out Kaylin because Kaylin is super critical of her and pretty much hates her. So anytime she gets where she can spread a story about Kaylin, she absolutely will. In fact, anytime she has an opportunity to like send any one of her previous like castmates down the river through clickbait, she will do it 100%. She loves to spread rumors about them. And then I found this because did you know in her life she has been arrested 15 times? I actually did a little bit of research on this, and between 2010 and 2016, girl was arrested 15 times. This is from Starcasm, which is a really snarky blog. I have been reading Starcasm. I can't even tell you. It's like a guilty pleasure blog of mine that I have read for years and years. They are like so snarky, and they do like this hilarious teen mom recap. They also cover like 90 Day Fiance and Life After Lockup, all of those shows, which by the way, I'm going to start doing Life After Lockup because holy crap, that show is good. But back to hers. 15 arrests, and girlfriend barely got slaps on the wrist. Spent a little bit of time in jail, but not very much. Never like had any consequences that were that serious. And her last arrest was only like, I don't know, I think she was arrested in 2015 for an assault on Nathan's ex-girlfriend. That's when she threw a cup at their head. And that actually she got acquitted. She got acquitted of that assault. And then that happened in 2016. And then by the 2017, she was pregnant with Ensley. So theoretically, she hasn't had a chance to get arrested because she's been too busy raising her 8,000 kids that she has. So I don't even know what to do with her, honest to God. How can you have this many arrests and no consequences? And then you have this massive thing happen with your kids in front of them and no consequences. It's like money talks in the justice system in North Carolina. And one of my readers that follows me on Facebook had mentioned that in this specific county, it's an old boys club. And if you have enough money to pay off just about anyone, you can get out of just about anything. Now, obviously that's hearsay, but the fact that she lives there and she had an experience where she was in an altercation with someone where they did something not very nice to her, they got off because they paid off a judge. It does happen, you guys. It really does happen. All right. So that's back to those photos. So I was also like wondering, she's also trying to launch her makeup brand. Have you guys seen this? She thinks she's going to be a seller of all things makeup. And she is going to be launching liquid eyeliner, liquid lipsticks, and an eyebrow kit. It's almost like she's taking a link right out of Kylie Jenner's playbook. And she was on her Facebook or on her Instagram for her company. She's been sharing photos, and it's JE Cosmetics. And if you go to her Twitter account, you'll see the pin post is referencing this. And the videos and the promos are absolutely terrible for this, you guys. Like horribly, terribly, totally bad. And I don't know if you think that Jenelle is someone that you would look to put the makeup on, but I would not think of Jenelle Eason when I think about makeup. I mean, sure, she can get makeup done, but I've never thought of her as the person to sell me makeup. but she's now going to be launching this in September. So she's going to just ride the waves of all of this publicity into a launch for her makeup. She's going to be attending a fashion week in Miami, which is from July 16th through the 20th. Now, attending it versus, she says they're going to be there. Now, I went to the website that they say they're going to be there at. They're not listed as anyone special that's attending, but there are different aspects where vendors can come to these shows and, like, you know, interact with people. They have shopping areas where people can sell products. And then they also have a show area where they feature, you know, small businesses and women who own small businesses. So it's probable that she's not included in the actual fashion component, but maybe paying to be there as a vendor, more likely. You can register online. Anyone can attend, any company can attend. So it's not like an exclusive invite. They have a registration form on the Miami Swim Week website. And there are some really big, like Sean, what's that? Sean something or a couple fairly large clothing lines will be there. So it's not, you know, JE Cosmetics, being that it doesn't even really exist yet and it's just talked about. Who knows? She might launch it and it might have hair, metal, and mold in it, just like Jaclyn Hill. So, but, you know, in her videos, if you really want Sean John, Sean Paul, not Sean John, Sean Paul, whoever that is. I don't know. That was the name. Anyway, so, because Sean John is Diddy, I think. Does anyone still wear Sean John? Because remember Diddy? Okay, anyways. Oh, Diddy. What happened to you, Diddy? Is his name still even Diddy? Anyways, if you want to laugh, I would encourage you to go to Jenelle Eason's Instagram, and you can go actually to JE Cosmetics, and you can watch their promo videos for their products. They are horrible. They're like putting their brow kits on. And I'm just going to grab a prop here for you guys. And they're like holding a box that says JE. Now, you just have to pretend like Soft Glam is JE and it's black. And the women are like, and then they're like holding their pencils and they're like, it's very cheesy, super cheesy. I don't know how she's going to sell anything because the makeup market is incredible. Is he back to Puff Daddy again? Who knows? All right, you guys. So that's the latest on Jenelle. I don't know what your thoughts are, but, you know, I just think it's really troubling that, given the fact that this woman has clearly been able to profit off of all of this stuff, and then also has clear signs that these kids are in a chaotic situation, that a judge could somehow just like dismiss everything based on hearsay. And I think it's incredibly important to point out that just because the case was dismissed does not mean they are innocent at all. They didn't say they didn't say they're innocent at all. They said they didn't have enough evidence. That's totally different than innocent. So the judge in this case felt like they didn't have enough evidence to support the charges that CPS brought against them. But in the justice system, that doesn't mean you're not, you know, that you're innocent. It just means you're not guilty or there's not enough evidence. So we all know what happened. We all know what's happening there. We all know what this is going on. And then, you guys, interestingly, my comment section actually got flooded yesterday by someone named Melissa or something, and they sounded a lot like David. I was like a little bit creeped out because I'll just read you some of the things that they commented on. It was almost like they were trying to not, the account is Michelle Rowland, and they said there's this one part where you can tell that I'll just read you some of the comments. They said, I wouldn't want my kid around that either, related to Barbara. That son is a nut job, referring to Colin. Um, you think if her mom would have seen abuse, her mom would have called herself. Mom would never let Jace go in there. Huh, that sounds interesting. Before all this, her number was on good terms before the dog account, so you tell me. They're talking about that account on Twitter. Her mom is crazy as hell. And everybody has to remember that this all started when he killed the dog. It all started when he killed the dog. It didn't start it before. Then, yeah, they had CPS called to the house. So it says they had CPS called to the house, I will times because of Nathan. That's never been released that it was related to Nathan. How would we know that, Michelle Roland? To which I commented, hi, David. And says, why you think he don't have custody of his other kid? I don't know, Michelle. You tell me, David. And then if you look at Nathan is a nutcase himself, she's the one that always had Kaiser, referring to Nathan not being fit to be a parent. And it says, I believe in kids' safety, but in another way, I had the same crap happen to me, one of my kids, and my ex calling CPS on me more than one time in them coming to my house. My kids will never abuse, never neglected or anything. And if you look at the pictures, I've never seen those kids abuse. Yeah, her husband is crazy as hell, but the thing is that couple don't argue with couples. And then it says, what couple don't argue with couples don't get mad every once in a while and they may break something or something like that. And if that was my daughter and my dog would have snapped at her, I would have done that. I would have done the same thing, which David has said online before. He didn't regret it because the dog snapped at her and he'd do it all over again. Besides the fact that Michelle doesn't know how to type, a lot of this sounds oddly like David. And there's this one comment where this says, trust me, husband has a lot to worry about. He cannot go back the way he was because now he's on a microscope. So if you think Jenelle's going to let him go back the way he was, I'm sorry, I don't think she will. And then they wrote, you have to remember, how do you know she has totally changed my life? You have to remember, how do you know? She has totally changed my life around. I don't care what anybody says. You have to give credit where credit is given. Even her own mother said it. Seriously, that comment right there was David forgetting that he was not Michelle and saying, you have to remember, she has totally changed my life around. You have to give credit where credit is due. So if you want to see these comments, they are actually in my video from yesterday about the family reacts. And there are a lot of these comments from David. I have, if you notice in the comments on this post, you will, you can respond and just say, hey, David, that's what I did. On every single comment to Michelle, I just said, hi, David. Hey, David. What's up, David? How you doing, David? So since David is watching these streams, I just want to say, hey, David, I'm super glad you're watching me, and I hope you don't ever hurt your kids ever again. So, all right, you guys, I am going to get going because it's time for dinner, but I have another scheduled live coming up tonight about a video related to Trisha Paytas, because this one is going to give you guys some comic relief, and we need some good comedy. So join me later tonight and we will dig into Trisha. I try to keep the Jenelle videos shorter because people that watch my Jenelle stuff don't like longer videos. All right, so I will be back later tonight to talk about Trisha Paytas and why her ex-boyfriend really doesn't like her and is taking massive steps to show that to her every single day. All right, you guys, I hope you have a great day. Let me know in comments what your thoughts are. Do you think those messages were from David? What do you think about the leaked video or the leaked pictures? What do you think about all this clickbait? And what about this stuff with Amber? Like, what the hell, Amby? Tell me what's up. And also, make sure you give me a like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Check me out on Twitter at WOA Crystal Ball and on Facebook at facebook.com/without a crystal ball. My article on this Jenelle stuff is going to be in the comments on the first comment pinned. And that you can read way more details than I talked about today. It goes in a little bit more depth about what's this makeup stuff and all the clickbait crap. And yeah. So thanks for joining me. Keep on keeping on. And as always, this story always develops. I'll be back with more soon. Bye.